Hey, what's up guys? I'm just hanging out in the garage right now. Later on tonight, I'm gonna be going doing some video with a couple friends, so I'm just trying to get my car cleaned up. You might be asking what car? You probably see three of them in the video right now. I'm talking about my 1986 Toyota Corolla right behind me. It's the AE86 coupe. And I got this car 4 years ago. And when I got it, it was basically just a rolling shell with a motor in it. So the reason I got it was my friend Mark had done a beam swap on it and put a GTS rear end in it. And this thing was really, really great mechanically, but it needed a lot. I mean, we're talking it was missing bumper, taillights were cracked, all the side mirror stuff was all messed up, the window trim was gone, interior was completely gone except the dash pad, steering wheel, and a couple of seats probably. So I've spent the last 4 years really working hard and networking with my friends. I've owned these cars for over 20 years, so I was able to source some parts and affordably source them, because as you know, these are not getting any cheaper these days and parts are getting harder to find. I thought I'd just do a little walkthrough on the current status of my car, where it's at right now, and all the things that I've added to it to make it mine. There's still a lot more to do, but I'm so happy with the way this car is turning out, and the motor that's in there has just been so solid. I've really been driving this Beams engine hard for the last 4 years, and it just keeps giving. So let's go check out the car and see what all I've done to it. Just do a quick walk around the outside. So the color on this is actually a wrap. It is Avery Quicksilver Metallic, and I had one of my good friends do this for me. He wraps cars professionally. So that all got sorted. I probably had to do about 200 hours of sanding on this thing just to be able to put the wrap on there, because somebody had either rolled on or spray painted the car. I'm not really sure, but it was not good. But yeah, it's been on there for probably 3 years now. People are surprised when they find out it's a wrap, because it was done so well. And I'm really pleased with the way it has turned out. There were some really nasty XXR 15-inch wheels. For me, with Corollas, 15-inch wheels are not gonna cut it. It's gotta be 14 inches or smaller. So I got these Work Equip 01s. They're from the 80s. So you can tell because the amount of hardware that's on the outside of the wheel. The newer ones have more hardware, so they can kind of get an idea of the age of the wheels right there. And then, as you can see, I have my rooftop tent here on top, made by Yakima. And right up here in my louvers, I was actually just putting a bunch of silicone on the joints up here because they were starting to rattle, and I'm using a microphone with some of our footage tonight and don't want a bunch of extra noise in there. So I'll actually show you putting these louvers back on and what that looks like after we walk around the car. The taillights right here I sourced because they were cracked or shattered on both sides, and I've done a lot of sanding and polishing and cleaning them up so they look new. This whole piece right here that the license plate goes around was missing, so I got that. You'll notice Solex locks, I've got those all around. Shout out to Phil on the AE86 Facebook groups that does the group buy on these. Those turned out really great, and I can lock the car now. So the window trim right here was all missing when I got it. I got it used. If you know these cars, the coating that they put over these just basically rubs off and wears off over time, so it ends up being just like a bare metal silver color. I sanded all these down and painted them with SEM Trim Black. If you have never heard of SEM Trim Black, look it up. It's amazing for painting anything from door handles to bumpers that might have a flat black color, and it holds up. This has been painted for 4 years now, and it's really held up super good. So this bumper I got from a good friend of mine. It's made by Shine Auto, but it's supposed to look exactly like a Goodline. And my friend actually got a really good deal on a Goodline bumper, so he had this sitting around, and I put the new marker lights in here when I got it and got a pretty good deal on it. So I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. I'll show you the motor now. So here is the 3S GE Beams motor. So this motor is out of a Toyota Altezza in Japan, and it comes with a 6-speed manual transmission. The great thing about this engine is it's a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine, so it's very similar as far as the way that the power is delivered and the feeling of the car, but it has about double the horsepower as a GTS like my yellow car behind me has, so it actually can kind of keep up with modern day traffic. It doesn't make it fast, but it does keep up, and it's pretty awesome. All right, moving on to the interior. So as you can see from the old photos, this car had nothing in it when I got it, or next to nothing. And I've sourced basically everything on the lower dash. I've got all the plastics. I put in this Momo steering wheel. It had some other steering wheel that I didn't really like in there. I do have a GTS cluster in here, but I need to do some modifications to be able to actually get that to work with the Beams engine. So for now, I've got a different way to monitor things. It's just basically off of a tablet that does Bluetooth dongle to an app on the Android tablet. Eventually, I'll put a different shift knob in there. I've got this truss knob that I've had for a long time sitting around. Once I do the shifter relocation, you can notice I'm actually missing some of the plastic right here because the transmission actually sits farther back where the shifter comes out than it does normally. So I have it in a box, but I need to go through and actually get it installed so I can put the correct plastics in there, at which point I don't think this is gonna actually work because it'll just be hitting everything up there. So I'm gonna put this old truss in there, and this is a fan favorite. Everybody loves this shift knob. So I got carpet in there and floor mats by GarageMoon Power. And the big deal was the seats. So these seats were done by my friend Mo. Shout out to Mo. He is AE86 Preservation Society on Instagram. And he did everything, including the back seat right there. This fabric right here is actually the bus fabric, the city of Boise where I live. It's on all the city buses right here in the center. So I was able to source this, and then he put together all the kit and did all the door panels as well, just to make everything come together there. I'm kind of a bit of a purist when it comes to when my car was made. So originally I had earlier door cards. These are a Koki door card. You can tell by the non-integrated armrest and the fabric insert on the panel right there. So the earlier models for 84 and 85, this was basically just all vinyl and the armrest was integrated in. And I actually sourced a GTS back seat. So the SR5 has a flat panel that sits against here and exposes the rear wheel well. And I also got the Koki specific one, so they have the fabric insert to match the fronts. And it just all looks really great. This being Koki matches the car because this car is a 1986, so I just kind of wanted all that to match. Something worth mentioning is like the headlight eyebrows right here are Koki, and the side markers right here are Koki as well. The Zenki ones are different, so I just wanted everything to be correct as far as the year that it is. All this was missing as well, so I sourced the control panel and the motor and the harness for the sunroof, the headliner that's in there, C-pillars back here. These are actually for a non-sunroof model. You can tell they actually had two different models. The plastic kind of bumps out to accommodate for the drain right there. Eventually, I'd like to find some different C-pillars so I can make that look a little bit better. But the big thing that I totally love in here that I got, I've always wanted one of these. This is a Clean Ace air purifier. And this was a Japan market only option. It did come in various different models, including the Corolla, and I actually found a new old stock one of these and got that in there. I wired it all up, and it goes right here to this switch. You can see it was new old stock because all the paint on the switch is all perfect. It's never been used before. So that was a really cool find. It's really something I'll probably never use, but it was a super cool find, and it's something that I've had my eyes on for a while. And finding something that was so complete with the wire harness and the button being brand new and everything like that, I had to put it in there. All right, so you'll notice right here is a heater control. So I actually installed a heater down underneath there. This was an aftermarket heater from Jegs. And as I said, this car just really didn't have anything in it. So no AC, no HVAC at all. It was all ripped out. So this you can get through Jegs for like 200 bucks and they get you can basically just route 2 different lines of hoses. So I put one on foot and then one on defrost. And now I can drive this car when it's cold outside. And for starting the car, I don't have the ignition hooked up the way it needs to be. It's still on the switch panel right here. I basically have to turn on fuel and ignition, and then I've got a push button start. I've got a kill switch for the power that goes to the car, so when I turn that on, you can see the clock comes on. There was no clock in there before. Found that, got that all set up. And I can also get the dome light on if I need to. All just creature comforts that this car didn't have before that I just wanted to make sure that I had in the car. As mentioned before, this car is wrapped, not painted. And you may notice that the door jambs are the same color as the outside of the car and wondering, how did I do that? Well, I found this paint from Tamiya Color. This is actually like a scale model paint, but it is so dang close to the color of the wrap. So I actually just taped it off and painted all the door jambs. And if you notice, when we go to the actual wrap, pretty dang close. You'll also notice I don't have a headlight switch. So I do have a full wire harness that I got off my son's car when we GTS swapped it. I intend to integrate that harness in there so I can actually have working headlights from the switch that goes there. For now, I have a really cool method of putting the headlights up. Instead of just cranking on this little dial right here, which takes forever, you got the little impact wrench here, and headlights are up now. So I do have a headlight motor, but it's just handheld, and it's not the actual motor, but it's a motor nonetheless. So that's how we get the headlights up and down for now, and hopefully someday we get that fixed. All right, so I'm gonna get these louvers back on here. The silicone's been drying overnight, so it should be ready to go. These are my louvers that I got. They were sent to me from a guy in Georgia, I think. Anyway, I've totally restored these, repainted them. Got a reproduction decal from a guy that makes them, so it looks all brand new right there. So anything that says Shadow on it was originally an option that you could get at the dealer, I believe. So when you bought a car brand new, you could get them with louvers as an option. And the company Shadow made these for various different cars when you bought them back in the 80s. And some of even the 70s, like the 240Zs that you see out there. But they all kind of had that Shadow name on them. And yeah, really happy about these. I wanted them for so long on any car I could possibly find them for, and I found them for this. So let's get those back on. So there's 2 clips right here that mount to the top, and these actually just need to slide underneath the windshield right here. But what I'm gonna do first is put some of this rubber assembly lubricant on there, and that's gonna help it slide underneath the weather stripping there so it doesn't tear it up or anything. Get this thing lubed up. I don't know why I said it like that.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you know. There we go. Oh, the other one slipped out, of course. This happens all the time. It's hard to do it one person. Usually I have somebody helping me when I put these back in, but I'm by myself right now, so just making it work the way that we can. So I got the top slipped in right here, and I'll just need to adjust the way it sits a little bit, but basically what happens is, so now if I wanted to clean the window or put another sticker on there or whatever, with the bottom clips undone, you can actually just lift it up to access the window right there to clean it. And then you have these tabs right here, and it's pretty slick. Basically, you've got a notch right here on a little hinge, and it just goes into the knob on that tab right there and locks in, and then it's totally secure. I've successfully slid out both of the top plates right now, so I have to put that back in. Fun stuff. All right, so to get this back in by myself, I'll show you this other trick that I do sometimes. Just take a little Bondo spreader, and we get it wedged under there so that it'll slide in there better. So we get that wedged in there, and then I can start the process on the tab, slide it up, and just move it along, and there we go. So this just fits down, and then you slide the tab on the inside, and it's clicked into place, and now you can't move it. Locked in. And these were all rattling before because the joints on them were not solid. So now should be pretty vibration free. So that's how this car sits today. And I've got a lot of other stuff I want to do to it in the future, and we'll continue to make videos on the progress of the things that I put on it and the things that I fix and make better on it. One final parting thought here. 86 Day was a couple weeks ago, and I typically hold a event. Actually, I've done it for the last 4 years now. We've never had 86 Day here in Boise, Idaho before, and I took it upon myself, as I own 3 of them between the 2 that I own and the one that my son has, and thought we really need to get everybody together. So every year we get probably anywhere between 8 to maybe 11 Corollas out, and took a little bit of footage of 86 Day here, but it wasn't enough to really make its own video. So I'm just gonna add some of it on the end here, and you can check out what the 816 looks like here in Boise. What is up? In the car right now. It's the wonderful day of the year that I always look forward to, 86 Day here in Boise, Idaho. I'm doing the 3rd year of 86 Day that I've hosted an event here, which has never happened before I started doing it. I've got my friend Quentin is actually driving my son's car today because he's not able to come out, and then right behind him is my friend Garrett driving my hatch. So I got 3 of my cars coming out and a bunch of my friends meeting up. We're gonna go for a nice drive up our local mountain and hang out where it's a little bit cooler, and just hang around a bunch of Corollas that only happens like once a year because there's not that many of them around anymore. All right, so we're out here getting gas. There's Garrett driving my hatch.
What up?
There's Quinn.
Check out my car, dude.
Oh yeah, nice car, man. Driving my kid's car. Nate brought his Starlet out, which I'm really happy about because I've never seen this car running, and he's looking at it, making sure it's not breaking. Just old car things.